The case against a young man accused for the murder of Magistrate Romy van Rooyen resumed today at the Western Cape High Court in Cape Town. Van Rooyen was found murdered in her home in Marina Da Gama in the Southern Peninsula in September 2022. Cassidy Hartzenberg, Van Rooyen's nephew, was arrested shortly after her murder. Hartzenberg is expected to inform the court today regarding his decision on a possible plea agreement. For more on the story, we now cross to SABC News reporter Corbin and video journalist Lukhanyo Mazantsana. Corbin, thank you so much and good morning to you. Firstly, of course, this is one of those stories that gripped the country. Just talk to us about, the merits of this case before we speak about what's likely to happen in court today.
Yes, indeed. Good morning to you and to the viewers. Well, yes, this is one of those cases that sent shockwaves through the nation. Magistrate Romy van Rooyen was brutally murdered in her own home in Marina Da Gama in September 2022. And the person arrested who was accused for murder is in fact her nephew, Cassidy Hartzenberg. Now, her murder sent shockwaves throughout the legal society as well as through the public society as well. And we were in court today to hear what the accused, her nephew Cassidy Hartzenberg, decided, because he was offered a plea and sentencing agreement. And the decision that he made, he did in fact agree and accept the plea and sentencing agreement that was offered to him today. During the court proceedings, he actually, through his legal representative, admitted to murdering his aunt in her home, and he also described the circumstances surrounding her death, and he described how he murdered her, saying through his legal representative that he did in fact strangle her after she refused to give him money. Of course, after accepting the plea and sentencing agreement, the sentence that was decided on and the sentence that was agreed to was he pleaded guilty for two charges. The first charge was murder, which he will be sentenced to 20 years for, and the second charge that he pleaded guilty to was for the theft of his aunt's motor vehicle. Of course, that was the motor vehicle that was found shortly after her death, and Cassidy, the nephew, was also arrested shortly, a few days perhaps after the murder of his auntie. But joining us now to talk about the sentence that was handed out, which is an effective 20 years concurrent service, because those two sentences will be running concurrently. But we do have the NPA spokesperson in the Western Cape, Eric Ntabazalila, who's joining us now to give us a bit of an update and just to talk to us about the sentence and how the NPA feels about the sentence that's now been agreed to and handed down to Cassidy Hartzenberg. Eric, good day to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay. So, Eric, we've just come out of court here at the High Court, and we witnessed the plea agreement that was agreed to by Cassidy Hartzenberg between the state and himself. What does the NPA, how does the NPA feel about the agreement that's been reached and the sentence that's been handed down?
Yes, it's an agreement we agreed to and signed with the legal representatives of the accused and the accused. He has been sentenced to 20 years direct imprisonment for the murder of Romy van Rooyen, who we know was the prosecutor at the NPA for years and later joined the magistracy, and then he's been sentenced to 6 years imprisonment for the theft of a car. The court ordered both sentences to run concurrently, which effectively gave him 20 years direct imprisonment.
And then just with regards to the sentencing, just take us through perhaps the negotiations that went into the sentencing between perhaps the state and the legal representative for Cassidy Hartzenberg.
Yes, it's a proposal that was tabled to the various parties. You'll know that there'll be the family of the deceased who gets approached, the investigators who gets approached, and everybody agrees that this is a sentence that we think fits the crime. You'll know that in matters like that one, the prescribed minimum sentence is usually 15 years imprisonment. But in this instance, we ask the court to use its discretion and go beyond that 15 years prescribed minimum sentence due to the type of crime that was committed and the person it was committed against. and that we felt that it was necessary for the court to increase the sentence, which it did, and we are happy with that.
Now, this murder, this incident occurred at the time when the country is grappling with gender-based violence. And you know, the incident sent shockwaves throughout the country. Just what do you think centers like this could do for maybe going forward towards fighting gender-based violence?
Look, we hope that it does send a message that these types of crimes will not be tolerated by the courts, and we also we try our best also to ensure that we've got prosecutors who deal with cases of this nature. But one must say that we are disappointed in this case, in that you'll find that this is a person, the accused, who confessed in his plea and sentencing agreement that the aunt was his favorite. They had a good relationship. He supported him and in his family emotionally and financially, and that she was loved by the family. She was the glue of the family. But the only sin that she did was refusing to give him money. You'll remember that he was a drug user, and he attended the funeral. He mourned her death. He cried like everyone else, only for him to be arrested for her murder. So it's a very sad day for us, and especially that this is a person who was a prosecutor and a magistrate who dealt with cases of this nature, made sure that the people who deal with cases or committed cases of gender-based violence and cases against women and children were sent to jail, only for her to fall victim to this type of crime, and to someone else who is very close to him, someone else who she loved very, very well.
Eric, thank you so much for your time. I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Well, that was the NPA spokesperson here in the Western Cape, Eric and Tabazalila, just giving us a bit of feedback and their response as the NPA following the plea and sentencing agreement that was reached between Cassidy Hartzenberg and the state. Of course, Cassidy Hartzenberg, who was accused for the murder of his aunt, Magistrate Romy van Rooyen, who has now agreed to the plea and sentencing agreement, and the effective sentence that he will be serving is 20 years that will run straight. So that would include the 20 years that he's been sentenced to for the murder of his aunt, as well as the 6 years that he's been sentenced for the theft of a motor vehicle. Of course, Cassidy, as Eric was pointing out, was very close to the aunt, and Romy van Rooyen was supporting the family emotionally and financially. And it's a very, very sad day for the courts, but also especially for the family of Romy van Rooyen with this matter that has now just torn the family apart.